And especially since there was a flurry of events on the cross-border relations front. Connie, covering the unification ministry, what would you say is the defining moment of inter-Korean relations in 2015?
Well, Conn-young, it would have to be North Korea's landmine provocations across the inter-Korean border in August that maimed 2 South Korean soldiers. Now, South Korea called it a clear provocation by the North Korean military, which led to turning on its loudspeaker broadcast in the border in 11 years. Now, tensions peaked with Pyongyang giving Seoul an ultimatum of 48 hours to turn off its loudspeakers. But before that deadline, North Korea proposed talks that ultimately led to South Korea turn off its loudspeakers, hold war-separated family reunions, and government-level talks.
I remember covering the marathon talks here in the news team day and night for a few days straight. And it was back in August, and the meeting was very closed doors, very off the record, and off the media. So and it was held at the tourist village of Panmunjom. Are there any behind the scenes that we can now talk about?
Definitely. Well, the high-level inter-Korean talks are labeled as a virtual summit between President Park Geun-hye and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Now, physically, it was 4 delegations sitting down for negotiations, but the whole proceedings were linked live by video to both the presidential office of Cheongwade in Seoul and to Pyongyang. So although both leaders weren't present physically, the two were virtually talking to each other as the whole process was controlled and monitored. And while watching the entire negotiations, President Park and leader Kim gave orders via memo during the final stages of their agreements.
Connie, it actually really seemed like there is going to be a breakthrough back then.
Exactly, but unfortunately it didn't, right?
Right. And should we be expecting an improved inter-Korean relations or even inter-Korean talks soon next year?
Well, the answer for right now is a no. This because Vice Minister's talks that was held this month ended with no agreement and no dates for any further meetings. Well, what cash-strapped Pyongyang brought to the negotiating table was the resumption of the long-stalled Mount Kumgang tour. Now, remember, these tours were halted back in 2008 when a South Korean tourist was shot dead by a North Korean soldier. And on the other hand, Seoul prioritized holding war-separated family reunions on a regular basis, saying the two issues cannot be dealt on a similar level. And furthermore, we can't undermine how the death of the North Korean point man Kim Yang-gun will impact inter-Korean relations. So unless the two Koreas change their stance on either family reunions or the Mount Kumgang tour, it's highly unlikely that the two Koreas are going to sit down for talks anytime soon.
Right, ups and downs for inter-Korean relations in 2015, and hopefully there will be some improvements in the cross-border relations front in 2016, keeping our fingers crossed, and of course, I'm keeping my trust in you two reporters to cover the unification and the Foreign Affairs Ministry, respectively.
Of course.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.